the next year, so 2018, I said I want to hold my own event in the city. So I had told some girls at the college or at the university that I wanted to hold this event. So they said something to some women at the mosque who got in contact with me and said, hey, we want to help you. So when we had a little meeting, and I remember I went to a small mosque that's kind of used for like classes and things like that. And I go in and I talk to this man and I told him who I was waiting for. He went back in a room because he was doing something. He comes back out and he offers me a snack and he shows me where the restroom is. And I come back out from the restroom and he offers me a piece of pie. And he kept just going back and forth like he wanted to talk to me, but he wasn't sure. And at one point he said, here you go. And he gives me a calendar with like pictures of mosques. And I thought, well, that's really cool. And then he handed me like 2 Qurans, and I was like, cool, I can read these, and like maybe, that'll help me be a better advocate and be more understanding of Islam. And he sat down next to me and was talking at one point, and there were more people starting to gather in for the meeting. And before we started the meeting, he said, the way that the media portrays our religion, and he mentioned that and some other things. He said it's just the most misunderstood religion, and that really stuck with me. I thought I need to learn things for myself for sure. And so at the meeting, the women agreed to help me, and then they said we're going to go visit churches for World Hijab Day and give the women scarves and teach them about it. And so they do a lot of interfaith events. So we helped each other out. And when it was all over, World Hijab Day was done, I said, I'm going to miss you guys, so maybe during Ramadan I can come and visit you at the mosque. And I knew that World Hijab Day did a 30-day hijab challenge, and I just thought, that's a lot, and I just don't know if I can do it, because I didn't want to put it on and try and then fail, to be honest. So I thought about it for a while. I had a few months, because Ramadan was in, I think, April that year. And I decided to do it. And I thought, if I'm going to do the 30-day hijab challenge and I'm going to visit them at the mosque, I might as well fast as well. So I wore the hijab as much as I could out and about. I let work know, hey, I'm going to be wearing this. And I was at the mosque almost every night. There were a couple of nights I couldn't go because of work, because I was traveling at the time. And I noticed about a week or so, in maybe 2 weeks, as I was learning more, I could feel this change happening. And no one ever pushed me or anything. They just said, hey, if you have any questions, let us know. Or if something was going on that maybe I wouldn't have known why it's happening or what it was exactly, somebody would offer up the information. And I eventually asked my friend to teach me how to pray. And I was like reading the Quran. I would get up for suhoor and like watch people's stories, and I was like trying to learn about Islam. And that Lena came back around, the women from the Salam Girl podcast. I discovered them, and so there was just so much going on. I was learning so much, and I was just really trying to dive into it. And I wanted to be a better advocate. Was really what my goal had been. But by the end of it, I was really falling in love with the religion. So one night, I'm at the mosque. It's toward the end of Ramadan. Everyone's praying, and I'm watching, and I'm reading the Quran. And I was actually still toward the beginning of the Quran when God is actually speaking to Mary about Jesus and having a baby. And I thought it was so cool, all of the parallels between like Christianity and Islam, since I had a Christian background. And I remember a woman came up to me, and some people were very surprised that I wasn't Muslim already. They said I wore the hijab well, and they had seen me there so often. And I really appreciated the compliments about the hijab. She asked me, she said, why do you hesitate? And I thought about it for a second, and I thought, I don't know. I really don't know what's holding me back anymore, because I had fought myself a little bit, My family's not Muslim. It's a huge life change. But I just felt this overwhelming sense of peace. Just a peace that I hadn't really felt before. Because with Christianity, I went to church off and on. We didn't start going to church until I was 12. And then throughout college, it was off and on, kind of. And when I moved to the city on my own, I I tried again, and something always felt like it was missing. And so I said, I'm going to take my shahada. So I texted one of my friends, and I let her know. So I did it the last day of Ramadan, and it's there's hardly any words to describe how amazing it is, even just sitting here talking about it. It's been